One is that you've obviously, you've been working very successfully in a very unstructured area, right? And it requires you to bring together, to some extent, for every project, if you're a curator, but for an institution, a set of permanent people who will be not just the artists, but you need supporters, you need evangelists, you need media people who understand it and create awareness, so you need people who will provide funding and support in financial ways. So how have you really storyboarded your vision so as to bring all of these people along? And the other aspect of it is that all of you have collaborated with people around the world. So it's not just been an India focused, for India journey that you've had, but it's really been an India for the world journey that all of you have had. So talk to us a little bit about that. And Alka, maybe we begin with you again.
What is very interesting is that you're talking of the global and the local. Now, while India is literally a treasure trove, not just of ideas, materiality, and talent. I mean, I think for me, India is really quite spectacular, very precious, and it has so much to offer. But unfortunately, because there's so much here, you kick a stone and a jewel emerges. I think somewhere along the line, we have taken our, our cultural capital for granted. It's like you take India, poverty, lack of water, lack of education, lack of public health for granted, and you carry on your developmental work and sustainability in the same breath. Yeah. And then you have the biggest millionaires, probably the maximum number of rich people in the world are probably Indians and Chinese together. So having said that, while I have worked with both, unfortunately, I do still like working with more developed societies because they have a structured place for cultural capital. Now, that's the challenge which I am facing constantly. And even now, there is no value at all for cultural capital in this country. And that's really unfortunate because, here professors are still meant to sleep under blankets with their toes popping out from under the blanket, feeling the cold. They have no comforters. If you are a public intellectual, you're supposed to be downright poor. How can a hungry man think of, the only person who can fight on an empty stomach is a war mercenary? How do you develop your ideas? How do you think? How do you talk about, sometimes I feel one is in an uber luxury, luxury thinking, developing art. But if I was a designer, if I was a person who was even, for example, creating art, I would get some money for what I do. But there's no value for ideas. They just expect you. I don't want to take names, but I've just been asked to be on a panel. At that point, I'm not in Delhi. I've been asked to come down. I've been asked to be on a panel absolutely free of cost. So when I asked this, and it's a agency which has lots of money. And when I asked them that, how do you expect, do you mean to say I should put money from my pocket to be part of your panel? I was told, oh my, we never thought about it. So how do you expect a very, very fertile, exotic, fruit-laden plant like art to grow in a soil which is not being nurtured? When you work with developed societies, everything, they have structures, they have fees, they have contracts, they have, logistics. Everything is worked out and it's wonderful. I have worked with museums across the globe. I have worked, from Italy to Austria, from Australia to Spain. There are structures. I'm not saying they pay an arm and a leg. It's not that. They are also busy looking for funding. They say it at the outset. They put everything on paper, even to the per diem that you're going to be paid when you are going out of the comforts of your home. It may not be much. It may just be 30 euros a day. But you are getting your 30 euros, which is taking care of your basic cost. It even takes care of your 5 euros for the bus to take you to the museum where you're supposed to be installing a show. But it does not work out like this in India. We need to get our structures in place. We need to put a value on cultural capital. We need to put a value on time. We need to respect our artists. We need to respect our curators. We need to respect time. And that for me has become the biggest challenge. I also like here to just quote from Narayana Murthy, take nothing free and give nothing free. Because the minute it's not about, that somebody is going to ask you for lakhs of rupees to do a small little curatorial project. But what about the time? You need to refer, you need to, I don't believe in internet research per se. You need to buy books, you need to go to the gallery, you need to go to see shows, you need to meet people, you need to entertain people. Now, how are you going to do that? I mean, there's this lovely quote in Hindi which says, "Ghoda agar ghas se dosti karega to khayega kya?" So, these are very, very, they may sound facetious, they may sound mercenary, they may sound, not very palatable. But I feel that if you want to really do world-class shows, you need to feed your resources. And frankly, I am passionate about my work. I have given my time and a lot of my things, I've done it happily in the past. But now I feel I've come of an age where I would like to be compensated for my time. And if I am feeling like that, what about young people who are struggling? They have to pay rent. So these are certain very basic challenges which are there in my beloved country. And I think we all need to, because we are all in positions today, whether it is you, whether it's Usmita, whether it's Maina, whether it's me, we should begin first by putting whoever we hire, by putting a value on the person's time, bringing respect to our field. In fact, somewhere along the line, I also hold myself responsible. Why did I do so many things just gratis? There was no need. The people had the money, but I actually devalued not only myself, but my entire community. I hold myself responsible for it too. One should be firm and polite and put a value. Respect yourself, respect your ideas, respect your knowledge. This is very, very important. And I think the first thing for most of us is having to learn to say no firmly and politely if we are being devalued. That's all. And I think artists particularly, look at our artisans, look at our master craftsmen in this time of pandemic. I mean, my heart bleeds. Many of them, we are going to lose so many of them because they are not going to be able to come back to their profession. They are selling vegetables. They are going to sit at home and work as daily wage earners. It is really pathetic. Whereas Angela Merkel, in the first time of the lockdown, gave billions of euros to the art community and museums. And, we're not short of money. But as this lady told me, oh, but I never thought that you're going to come to be a panelist. We never thought there would be a value. Now, these are things which we have to look into. Why are the arts and the artistic resources always marginalized, but they are the first people to go to do an auction for the cause? So I think these are areas which we have to look into. And I am quite actually distressed by the way the art community is treated and the art community treats itself. It's actually like a double-edged sword. So this is a great, great challenge. And I think here is one place where we can really learn from the developed societies. We should make contracts, we should respect each other, and we should care for each other.